Hey guys, it's CarGuy11. Welcome to another CarGuy11 Live. This is my second one. I'm going to try to do these weekly. I started last week, and I have them on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So I think that'll work well for people. And again, these aren't meant to be too long, so even if you miss them, you can definitely play them back and you can still comment, and I will answer your comments in the next video. But definitely, if you are watching it live, definitely join in and put your comments in the chat on YouTube, in the chat below. I'll definitely look at those while we're talking. I pick out a few news stories every week to talk about and discuss. And while we're waiting for people to join, I also wanted to let you know a little bit of some channel news. I actually created a Teespring store, and I'll show you. Just some people were asking, and I decided just to create one with some basic designs, just my logo, really. And it's pretty cool. If you're so interested, um, you can wear these at car shows or different things, and it says car guy. So I mean, you're probably a car guy if you're watching this. So it doesn't have really anything with the channel, just my logo, if people would recognize that. But yeah, people might like that just to wear. And I've worn my shirts, and they say, "Oh, that's a cool shirt, car guy." So pretty neat. Just a holiday shopping option for those that are interested. But yeah, and we're getting real close now to the holidays, so hopefully you guys are getting ready for that. But anyway, why don't I start with the first story for this week? And the big one that I heard and a little disappointed in, or a lot disappointed in, is the report that the C8 mid-engine Corvette is not going to debut in Detroit like we thought. And I am going to the Detroit Auto Show in January. So I was really hoping to see it there. But unfortunately, it looks like we are not going to see it there. In fact, Chevy said that they're not going to show anything in Detroit, which is pretty pretty dramatic. But I think there's a little glimmer of hope here. Last year, Chevy showed the Silverado pickups, and they had their own private event. It was not at the Detroit Auto Show. So it is possible they are going to have another private event to show the C8 Corvette, and it just won't be a press conference at the Detroit Auto Show, but the car itself should be there in person. So let's hope for that. But otherwise, I would be pretty disappointing. And they are talking about pushing it to New York. Some reports are saying, and New York is significant because the 1953 Corvette made its debut in New York. So it is possible they'll hold out for New York, but I was kind of recently, it's been at the Detroit Auto Show, so I was really hoping and expecting it to be in Detroit. So a couple comments here. Darth Cookie, we watched your videos in class today, and my teacher clicked off your video after 5 seconds and said, "I don't like this guy," and was saddened. It's an auto maintenance class. Okay, huh? Interesting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but maybe the teacher was just didn't want you watching it. Wonder what type of video it was, if it was a how-to video or Jeep or Corvette. Steve Wentling says, hope they don't release it in Dubai like they did the ZR1. Good point, Steve. Yeah, that would be very disappointing if it was released in Europe or somewhere other than the US. They did that with the Grand Sport as well. They introduced the Grand Sport version of the C7 at Geneva. So I'm not sure what they're up to. It seems like these automakers are moving away from the major auto shows and holding private events. I think they'll get a little bit more coverage than having to fight other debuts at the show, and also it's probably cheaper. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure the auto shows charge an arm and a leg to have a press conference there. So those are some possibilities. Also, I don't think any of the German automakers are going to be at Detroit. They've all pulled out. And this is the last auto show in Detroit in January. They are now going to move the show this year, actually, in June. So there'll be 2 shows this year. You know, I don't know if they'll rejoin if in the summer months, but there's also the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, competing during that early January timeframe. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens, but yeah, that one was definitely pretty disappointing to see this week. Another story this week, and definitely give your comments below and your comments on the chat. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So, oh, the technician, hey tech, what's up? What's up? Waiting to hear all about the C8. There have been all kinds of rumor leak videos, but I guess only GM knows. Yes. Tons and tons of rumors and talks. I won't get into all the details in this video, but yeah, just I'm really looking forward to see the final product in person, or or just see it, because all you see is these camouflage. And to be honest, I'm not thrilled of what I'm seeing yet. I'm hoping it looks better after all the camo and extra bits are off of it. But for right now, I'm not blown away. So I really hope it does look better when they reveal it. Steve says, also hope it does not cost over $160,000 as some predict. I doubt that. I really think it's just going to be a small increase. I would predict it would be starting below 70,000. But I can't see them alienating all the customers, by pricing it that high. Now, yes, the ZR1 will be probably 160,000, since the current ZR1's already 140,000. So I could definitely see that. But the base model C8, I can't see it being too much more than it is today. So Autonut says, are you going to Detroit with any other YouTubers? Well, yes, there's going to be plenty there. I definitely know Matt Moran will be there. I've talked to him about it. So I'll definitely be seeing him up there. Of course, Autonut's going to be going with me up to Detroit. And yeah, I'm sure there are going to be tons up there. None confirmed, but I know that there will be. So pretty exciting. I've never gone to the Detroit Media Days. I've been to the Chicago Media Days and the LA Media Days, but yeah, this will be exciting. This is a big time show, although it has declined in the past few years. So the tech says, what did you think of the C7 when it was only seen in camo back in the day? Yeah, that's a good point, Tech. I, I mean, yeah, I wasn't probably 100% thrilled with it either. Honestly, I can't remember too much, but I remember the reveal. I watched the reveal live online, and I knew I wanted it when it was revealed. So let's hope that I feel the same way when the C8 is revealed. And I have my old school Corvette shirt on today. Thanks, CarGuy11. But yeah, so let's uh let's hope for that, and I'm sure it won't disappoint. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be uh, a nice improvement performance wise to the model for sure, and I'm sure in looks and styling as well. So all right, let me move to the next story, and that is one more here from Steve. I hope the engine is a 5.5 liter V8 twin turbo dual overhead cam flat plane crank. Love the sound of the CR8. Yes, that's definitely probably going to be an engine option. This is already in the Cadillac CT6 V Sport, or V, sorry, V. It is the 4 point, I want to say 4.5 liter. It will be increased displacement for the Corvette. So it's going to be a version of that engine, put it that way. So yeah, so the CT6, by the way, 4.2, thanks, Steve. The CT6, if anybody is interested in that car, it's going to be a very short run. Just this spring, they're going to build the V version of that with that 4.2 liter V8, because they are ending production, I think, by March of the CT6. So if anybody wants to get their hands on one, it is sure looking like it's going to be a rare car, and might be one to hold on to. Steve also says he owns a CT6. Hate to see it go. Oh, yeah. I know. It has very short model run, but it looks like sedans these days are just not selling and making money. And so Ford, already said they are ending car production except for Mustang. And now GM has announced several models, not all car models, but several of them are going away. And the Cadillac's going to only, I believe, have the one sedan. It's going to be the new CT5, which again we haven't seen yet, but it's going to be a little bit smaller than the CT6, but bigger than the CTS, or probably around the CTS size. So Tech says the night testing sounds of the C8R were released. I can't believe how fast the shifting is. It's probably gonna have the dual clutch transmission, although I kind of doubt the base models will have the dual clutch. I think they're gonna keep with the 8-speed or 10-speed auto with the LT1 engines. I could be wrong there, but yeah, the dual clutch is going to be a huge improvement over the slush box that's in there now. So Steve also says, rumor has it Camaro may go away. Ooh, I did not hear that. I know the Camaro is not selling well. It's not selling well at all, and I think part of that is the pricing. It's very expensive. It keeps going up. It's getting close to Corvette territory. And the styling, it's not improving. It's actually getting worse. So, and they didn't change it enough with the 6th gen. It looks very similar to the 5th gen. I don't think enough people bought into buying trading in their 5th gen to get the 6th gen. So and Steve also says C8R has has a sequential race trans. Yes, the race cars are nothing like the production cars. They do have a special trans, and it's a different engine as well. A lot of it's just race car specific. So import domestic. Hey, what's up, Martin? Thanks for joining us. All right, let me move to the next story. Already almost at 15 minutes. So this one is a little surprising as well. So the pricing came out for the Z4. These are price leaks from a dealer. So the new Z4, which is going to be in showrooms this summer, it's going to start around $65,000, and that's starting price. That's a lot. I don't know if they're going to have cheaper models with the 4-cylinder. This is the 6-cylinder, I think 380 horsepower. It's the turbo straight 6 3-liter. Where does it say? It doesn't say in this article. But yeah, that seems a little steep. I believe the old model was like 40s and 50s. I mean, maybe 60s fully loaded. But to start at that's pretty high. Again, they may bring on the cheaper models later on, but for now, that's where it's starting. Now, the Toyota Supra, which I'm more interested in that than this car with the hardtop and everything. That's a little scary if the Toyota Supra is going to be this much. So hopefully it will be cheaper, but it's not going to be a lot cheaper. I also definitely know this Toyota Supra will be offered in a 4-cylinder. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I don't know what you guys think of that pricing, but again, you can get a Corvette for that amount. So small car, roadsters. I don't know how many they're going to sell, because right now I know the old model didn't sell very well, and they discontinued it. I think the last model year, the old version, was 2016, so they haven't sold it in several years. But Import Domestic says, sounds like BMW is not trying to sell those units like Acura with the NSX. That's right. Yeah, I don't think they're going to sell very many at all. So with that pricing, Brian Bob Chapman says, hi. Thanks, Bob, for joining us tonight. And then Steve says, yep, Z4 overpriced, buy a vet. Right. The other thing that's frustrating with this car, no manuals offered, and it's this 8-speed auto, not even a dual clutch. So it looks pretty sharp, though. I have to admit, it definitely is an improvement in looks. AutoNut says, I think it's the M that at that price. Yeah, they're not really calling it an M, and I don't know if there will be an M. Well, you'd think there would be an M, because you'd think an M would be over 400 horsepower. This is still under 400 horsepower. So I bet there would be an M version that's even going to be more money. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to have their Z4 as their sports car, where, dedicated sports car, claiming that price. Now, the M3 and M4, start around there, as this article says. And so maybe that's what they're gonna do. But all right, let me bring up the last story this week, and actually, it's not even a story. I wanted to talk about Genesis. This is very odd. So I've been seeing the reviews and hearing different stories about the G70, and I was interested to go look at it, take a look at it myself at a dealer. Well, guess what? You cannot find a Genesis dealer. So for 2019 only, the Genesis dealers have to be standalone dealers? Well, let me answer this one more question first. Import says, is the Z4 in the same realm as a Porsche Cayman or Boxster? Yes, they are comparing it to that. Of course, the Z4's front engine, Porsche's mid-engine. But yeah, the Porsche is still a little bit more expensive, I'd say, especially with options. But the Z4 is getting getting in that territory for sure. And I'd have the Cayman over the Z4. So, but anyway, back onto the Genesis. So I was, looking locally and for a dealer and on their website. And guess what? There's none in PA and there's none in Ohio. There's a few in Washington, one in very north New York. This is crazy. And I was digging up and looking to find out what the problem is. Genesis wants you to have a standalone dealer. It cannot be part of Hyundai anymore. Where before it was part of my Hyundai dealer that was down the road for me. And I went to that Hyundai dealer and they're like, no, they no longer sell Genesis. Now they can sell a 2018 or used ones, but they cannot sell 2019. And of course, the Genesis G70 is a 2019. I also looked in California, and guess what? You cannot find a Genesis dealer in California. 90210. And the closest one is Vegas for California. So very, very strange. And I don't know how they're going to sell cars without any dealers. So I don't know if there's one in your area. Definitely comment below if there's one near you. But I just find that it's ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to sell this car, and it does look nice. I mean, it's pretty sharp looking, and would be interested in checking it out. But yeah, I just thought that was odd. So definitely tell me if you have one near you. I guess they'll eventually crop up, but yeah, it's just taking them a while, and they're missing out on the model year and a new model. So pretty strange there. But anyway, I probably should end it here. It's over 20 minutes now. But if you want to catch this also on replay, you can play it on podcast through iTunes. Just search for CarGuy11. So that's another way to do it. And definitely put your comments below, and then I can answer them next week as well. A couple comments came in. Import Domestic says, did you hear about the Hyundai dealerships are being sued Hyundai for not allowing them to carry the Genesis nameplate? I did not hear that they were being sued. They were suing Hyundai, but yeah, I mean, the problem is how many Genesis are sold. So a dealer, for a standalone dealer, that's going to be tough. That they're going to be able to be standalone and profitable. They probably don't sell very many Genesis every month. So, and Steve says, Genesis is in the beginning, there were no dealers. Genesis in the beginning, there were no dealers. Well, Genesis in the beginning were with Hyundai. First of all, they were Hyundai Genesis. and then they branched to their own brand, calling it Genesis as a brand, and then their separate models, G70, G80, G90. So yeah, so that's how that's going. AutoNut says there's 5 dealers in Chicago. Yeah, I can see the big cities have some, although New York doesn't. Just that northern New York, so that's kind of strange. I guess it's where they can sell in like profitable areas, but or maybe they're part of another group of dealers, and they have to have the standalone building, but it's part of a dealer network, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I just thought that was strange, and hopefully they will crop up and you know get some locally. Importer Message says it has nothing to do with being profitable. Hyundai wants to separate the luxury segment from the common Hyundai. I get that too. I mean, you don't want to take your Genesis into service with Elantras, but they could separate the service. They could have separate service. They could have a Genesis side and they could have a Hyundai side. That's not unreasonable to have. Matt Rosenthal, hello folks. Hey Matt, sorry, but I'm getting ready to end it. But you could definitely catch up and put your comments below. So anyway, guys, yeah, thanks for joining us. This went a little bit longer than I thought, but the Corvette discussion definitely is controversial, and will be ongoing until we know more details. So. But anyway, definitely stay tuned for I'll have a new video on Saturday, and that'll be a regular schedule. Every Saturday, regular video, and then every Wednesday, I'm going to try to do these live streams at 9 Eastern. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me this week, and I'll hopefully see you next week. Take care.